The best case scenario would be if things like Build and Fabric go viral and spots and similar things start popping up all over the world. Then all we'd have to do is focus on 1.9 points, and there's even a chance it could work globally. In that situation, the best scenario would be to raise funds, including from people in America, but I don't think things will go that smoothly. So while it would be great if it did, I'm not counting on it. If it doesn't go viral globally all at once, I think we should focus somewhere. And while it doesn't have to be Japan, I do think Japan is a strategic option. From a global perspective, Japan's inbound market is growing rapidly, and Japan has a lot of cultural and historical assets. Plus, the barriers to local and rural travel are among the highest in the world, so there's real pain there. Japan's cultural richness means that if people have a good experience here, they're likely to feel they had a great time with us, and they'll use us again when they travel elsewhere. Also, it's hard for competitors to enter the market, and while there are 4 main competitors in the US market, I was thinking that strategically, I'd like to secure Japan completely at first. However, if we do that, American investors probably won't understand the Japanese market, and no matter what kind of game we're playing in Japan, I don't think they'll be interested. So there are some challenges there.
If we follow the model of succeeding in Japan first and then moving on to America, it's really tough. What happens is you try to take a model that succeeded in Japan and make it work globally, but for efficiency in development, you end up trying to do everything together. When you try to adapt it for the global market, it ends up being half-baked for both Japanese and American users. Since the staff is all Japanese, it's hard for Japanese people to create something tailored for Americans, and I don't think it goes well. In short, it's a really tough path. So, if you go down that difficult road, the key to going global is having Japanese staff who can focus on production. And at the same time, finding people who are really motivated and talented but haven't been discovered yet. Ideally, if you're going to do it in Japan, you want people who are interested in working in Japan, but who can also thrive in America.
Americans.
Because they consistently achieve results in Japan, notably.
They don't do it.
Or maybe just perhaps.
Mainly engineers and designers.
There are people who can do both. And those who can create something from scratch have incredible talent. So, in terms of design, it might be good to have a designer and engineer who can each create things like Americans do and have them work really hard. But if you bring in people like that, then maybe finally, with Japanese people working full time, you might be able to pull it off. By making something together and managing it at this small team stage, if you can do that, you can try it out in this way, even if at first it feels like you're faking it. When Americans and Japanese try to create something together, the American sensibility is a bit different. If it works, that's great, but even with things like GPT or Twitter, when American services are localized into Japanese, the words get reduced. If it's good, that's fine, but people still use it while thinking it's a little different, isn't it?
You get people used to it, what it means to do it globally.
Or if you base it in America, everyone else in the world will adapt to that kind of simple interface. So that's a big advantage. But Japanese apps are a bit different. People around the world don't get used to them as easily. Even if you say you'll do it in Japan someday, your way of thinking is that back then, the users included Americans and other foreigners from the start, right? If that's the case, you have to include foreigners. And then you mentioned inbound people pretty casually, but what kind of people are those whose numbers are increasing? I wonder what kind of people they are.
I think there are all kinds of people among the current users, but the ones we're targeting are a specific type. That type is someone who travels alone, a woman coming from places like France or America, and around 27 years old. In terms of life phase, people who come at that age, 27, usually have something going on back in their home country, like family or work. Maybe they have a stable job, are doing something financial, or are on the board of something. They're wondering if this is really the right path for them, feeling a bit lonely and looking for something, so they travel. Right now, there are people traveling for self-discovery, using solo travel as a way to judge themselves. In that kind of context, there are also people who love Japanese culture or architecture. What we want to do is create something that really resonates with those people. We want to offer experiences where they think, I can't believe they do this much for me at this age, and build that through things like maps and automatic matching. And that's the kind of experience we want to create. maybe within the current market, that's a niche. But as long as we can really hit that target, that's fine for now.
Even if that's the case, we don't want those kinds of people to feel lost or troubled.
So we want to have that type of traveler on our team as well.
If we can at least provide that kind of experience, most people will generally think, well, yeah, this is good, this is fine.
Yeah, so
what kind of needs do those people have? They usually don't share their true feelings. So what do you think? Even if you find that you can't really read between the lines in those particular situations, it's actually best to have someone on the team who can truly and deeply understand what the target audience really wants.
Yeah, involving those kinds of people in the team is definitely something we need to think about more seriously at this point in time.
For example, even if it's something a little bit old-fashioned or perhaps even traditional at the beginning, it might be necessary to have someone who can give honest input and really speak their mind.
That's true.
Yesterday, as I was walking around here, I thought the same thing. There are all kinds of people at Inbird, right? I really noticed that. There are young people, but also a lot of families.
Many families around.
There are a lot of families and also groups of just teenagers. There aren't that many young people by themselves. Yeah, it's mostly couples, I guess.
Yeah, there are a lot of couples and families.
You really have to pay attention to that kind of thing too, right?